it's going to be tough for Celaver to hit anyone else but a big tank.
It'll be tough to pick anyone in the first place with the Black Shield at the front line, everyone just running away from you. So it'll be interesting to see if they manage to use that composition well. But it's tried and true, like you were saying before. They've been on these picks before, the Hecarim, the Tristana, it's worked out for them.
They have. I mean, it's gone back to that style of we go late game, and then we should technically have a better composition, so we will win these late game fights, despite maybe not being the better team, which is something they've done really well. And Celaver has been very, very good at his positioning. It was one of the things he did well at Rocket as well. If he got to late game, he was a good carry. He just had so many problems early on that we very rarely got to see him get to that point.
Well, as we get into Game 2, here are the compositions once again, but also, once again, hop on Twitter. Use the hashtags RGWin or GIAWin, I should say, to get in your votes, and we'll be checking in throughout the game on what your thoughts are at home. But I don't feel like it will have changed too much from the Game 1 Diffuse show. Either way, we are getting into Game 2 of this best-of-5 between Reason Gaming and Giants. Giants defending their spot so far with that first win in this series.
Yeah, now a very, very different playstyle from Giants. It's no longer dive in with an assassin mid lane, create picks left and right. No, it's poke. It's patient play, and it's being able to synergize well in fights and protecting your back line. If one guy missteps from Giants and suddenly your AD carry is dead, you will lose because Reason Gaming has then managed to pick you off in the start and can then start chasing, get the reset on Tristana, and just keep jumping on you. So we're going to have to see also if they can use the power spikes of a Corki in the mid lane from Pepenero here to start grouping up and sieging on these towers. Not always a thing that Giants has been so good at. It's been often very chaotic and try and like just get some picks, and that's how you win.
Yeah, something interesting happening in mid lane, but even more interesting is Pepenero's on Corki this time. So it's a new one for him, and very interesting to see how this will work out. You were talking about the interesting builds that you could potentially go, like the Liandry's with the Trinity Force.
Luden's Echo with Trinity Force with the Luden's Echo, and then you can decide to build like Haunting Guys as well, and just really max out on your magic penetration from him.
That's the one.
That is where at least the poke build we've seen from Corki mid laners over in North America quite a lot. There are different routes people decide to go with it, and we can see here from Kuban. It's the starting Flask, no potion, so he's going to do Raptor, then go back to base, have a bit of extra gold. Either he's going to pick up a second item or just going to get a few extra wards and potions, and then return to that top lane, where Sion can, as always, be quite annoying in the laning phase. It's not really going to kill you, but he has very, very good tools to simply just poke you down.
Yeah, so Kuban will be starting up on the, not the Wraith camp, it is the Raptors now. It's been a long time since I've said that one, but he'll be going for that. He'll be able to go back to base. Currently has 293 gold, which is not enough for boots, so he'll have to go for consumables.
We got 300 now with this one, so you're still right.
325.
325 is what he needs, but Werleap decided not to do a camp, even though that's what we normally see on Sion, so he's not getting that instant level 2. He went straight to lane instead. And as Kuban decides to go back and just get potions and a ward, try to look to maybe try and push in this wave here, and then have that ward early on. He's already placed it in the tri-bush, so clearly expecting early action from Frederick. He's of course running with no flash on this Hecarim, so he's just trying to play it extra safe in the early game, but there's no Kikis Udyr ganking you at level 2 in this one.
No, there is not. Frederick doesn't even seem like he's very interested in going top lane. He does start on the top side of the map, so he'll be going over to his blue, maybe even going for a full clear with the Merc Wolves. Zayu, meanwhile, was taking the initial crab of the game. He'll be knocking up, didn't even see what hit him.
This is really Reason Gaming securing that Hecarim top lane. You got early ward, you got Rift Scotland top side as well. So despite it's the bottom lane pushing for Reason, it's all about making sure Kuban can farm. He will become a big carry. I personally think when he gets to play champions like Hecarim, like Irelia, that he has shown multiple times in the past that he can be a guy to decide the game for Reason Gaming. In a positive way, of course.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people on Reason Gaming can be that big influence that they want. Take Fun can do it, Celaver can do it.
True.
It's just whether they turn up in that game.
Yeah, it's not consistently enough.
Right.
It's like one game, Take Fun takes over, goes 5-0 on Irem. We're like, whoa, what a fantastic performance, play around him. Next game, it just simply doesn't work. He loses his laning phase, or he makes a few bad decisions, and they lose the game from it. So Reason Gaming is a team where there's no real carry on it, but there in every single lane is a guy who can step up on a good day to be the man to win the game for you. It's simply just not consistently enough, and that's why they struggled when it came to even getting top 4 because they ended outside of top 4, remember. I think this EU won that spot. They couldn't field the roster and gave the spot to Reason Gaming, who's still been performing well in playoffs.
Well, lands the hook onto Rydell, but yeah, Reason Gaming, a team consistently in 3rd and 4th, not this time around, was 5th, but in-game always inconsistent. But that also could benefit them because they want to be inconsistent in not losing the series, as Giants are leading this 1-0.
Right.
Slightly ahead, but Zayu places down that ward. We do see Mr. Frederick going into top lane though. We'll also see both the junglers looking for something to happen.
Yeah, they're switching it up. It was Frederick ganking that mid lane over and over in game 1, but because Hecarim has no flash, he's looking towards that one. Zayu just gonna force away some mana from Pepinero. This W still costs 100, so it's pretty expensive early on for Corki.
Yeah, Corki has a tiny mana pool. He actually only has 400 at this stage. It's not a lot, so that is a large chunk of his mana pool. He won't be using those on fast bombs. Meanwhile, on the top lane, Kuban is not getting the better of the trade against Warlib. Tried to auto-attack trade when it was a very large minion wave there, and it turns out they do a lot of damage.
Yeah, he might get killed on the tower now. Frederick showing up instantly. Warlib can tank this one.
There's the follow-up, there's the body slam. Just needs one more tower shot, but that's going to land, and Warlib just over-tanks the tower. Oh, at least he'll be able to get some bomb and glory and death.
There's no reason to give that kill over to Kuban at all. Just flash away. Once you got hit by the second last one for Warlib. Bit of an
error.
A mistake, yes, for him. They got the kill. We saw them push it down. We've seen Frederick stay around the top side. Just ended up, honestly, being 1-for-1. Kuban did lose a big wave, so it's still heavily in favor of Giants.
But still, it could have been better. It could have been better executed. Either way, there's a hook into the bot lane. Lands on Rydell before the shield comes down. Follow up with the explosive charge from Saliver. And Zayu gets in there, hits the Prey Seeker on the minions. I am helping. I'm taxing your lane. And now he's leaving. Saliver, 46 farm to 47 in the bot lane. Very even. Same in the mid lane. The top lane, spoke about that differential that's now opening up 10 advantage to Warlib.
Look at top again here. The ward is going to be placed on the pink from Kuban, so Giants sees him, and he's staying here. He still has no way of flashing away. He can run away, though, and there's no mid laner. Pepinero had already come back to base, so Kuban will stay alive from this one, but his ward did get cleared already. Reason Gaming using the information of the enemy jungler being topside, though, to start an early dragon, and this time they're decisive. They're not just gonna back away. They know they can secure an early objective.
Well, there's nothing scary there to spook them and have them run away. Last game, it was only 3 people against 4, so they still should have gone for it, but this time, as you mentioned, good information top lane, and they utilized that in the first dragon. But they have gone for a slightly different composition this time around. They're not just looking to scale all the way into the late game and have that as their only way to win the game. Saliver is that late game, but it's more about the mid game now. Take Fun, Zayu, and Kuban of those champions. Meanwhile, at home, 77% over to Giants. That has increased by over 10% from the first game. But still, Reason Gaming have a pretty good chance in this series to come back.
I mean, it's only game 1, so nothing has been decided
2.
yet. Now it's game 2, sorry, but it's only been 1 game already. Obviously, nothing is decided. We saw very different pick and ban phase for Reason Gaming, taking away the other block. Definitely agree on that one every single time. Andre trade missing his laser at the very end on Saliver. Lipic now trying to at least get some control of this lane. It's very tough playing Nautilus and Morgana with that black shield, but honestly for Giants, not really looking to win in terms of the laning phase. They're looking for that spike on a Corki in the mid lane. They're looking to keep putting pressure on a no-flash Hecarim once again. Wave is coming in. This time Reason Gaming is reading it. See how the Rek'Sai is already here waiting for that dive to happen. Look for Warlib to start his ulti. Set up the whole thing.
Well, will Zayu go all the way around? He's waiting for it. Kuban's dropping low. He does have ultimate. Zayu comes through, gets a knock up onto Frederick, follows up with the ultimate as well onto the backside of Warlib. Doesn't really land though. That's a ferocious bite from Zayu to send them away, but Kuban is very low. He'll have to go back to base. He should be getting the home guards fairly soon, but still he has teleport if he really needs it, and he'll be using the teleport this time around.
Yeah,
he does have the home guards.
Well, you don't want to miss any more minions. Look at his CS count here, 41 now to 71, so he can't really afford to fall further behind, and Giants has done a very good job trying to shut him down. Next dragon spawning, the Sion will be a lot stronger than the Hecarim, and that's one thing they have to use to make sure you don't give any more dragons over to Recent Gaming on their side. Whirlip once again, he's happy taking these trades. One of the changes to Sign was some nerfs to his E, which made the Q suddenly the best thing to max, and if you do stand in it, you take a lot of damage. You can see he's already rank 4 for Whirlip.
Also a very long stun, means you can get those extra auto attacks in. Frederick finds a Rek'Sai in his jungle. Libic here, just farming up the bot lane with his AD carry. First couple items have been picked up as well. Peppernero going for that Triforce, going for the Sheen first for the extra burst. Mid lane, got the Aether Wisp, will be going into Luden's Echo as the first item. Gives him a lot of upfront damage, will help him out in those early fights if they want to go for them. Whirlip, here we go, lands onto Kuban, will follow up with the Decimating Smash and the knockback from Frederick as well, followed by the Cask. And just like that, down goes the horse.
Yeah, just camping him so hard. They know the Sign can tank up the tower. And that was an ulti from your own tower from Giants and Whirlip. 10 minutes in, look at his CS lead. That's the largest he's had. If you look at the entire LCS split, he's never been this far ahead of 10 minutes. 10 seconds, that would have been impressive.
Yeah.
And they're gonna get top tower from it. There's no TP from Kuban. He's really getting shut down on this Hecarim. And it's Frederick deciding which lane do I want to camp now. Game 1 was Peppernero, he got fed. Game 2, I'm gonna camp top lane now. Suddenly Whirlip, 2 assists, 2 kills for Frederick, and a massive CS lead.
Well, it's another game at 10 minutes where Recent Gaming are behind Giants. But, they always play from behind, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Their victories are always longer than their losses, around 37 minutes for Recent Gaming.
And they very often depend on the enemy team making some risky plays where Recent Gaming can punish them. We gotta give Recent the credit for playing it super cool and look for these openings in the late game. Now Giants
openings right now with the hook coming through. There is the chain follow-up and the damage from Libic. The depth charge did actually come in and detonate Adri. Would have liked it maybe to go to someone else, but Libic will be laughing all the way to the back.
Good little roam down from Recent. Masiah had already put the jungler in the mid lane to clear the wave out so Peppernero couldn't get any damage on the tower. And then we have this Nautilus. I mean, it's a point and click at first. Yeah, okay, the Black Shield can block it now, but with Ahri coming in first, not a whole lot Giant could do to stay alive, and good little setup for Recent.
Ultimate coming through from Rydell with the Soul Shackles, flashes forward as well to make sure it will connect, and the follow-up with perfect point-blank binding, and Frederick is there to deal the damage. Zhao and Libic were just a little too late to defend Celaver, so a nice pick in return from Giants.
Celaver decided not to flash. Once you jump, you just flash instantly after to get out of range of the Morgana. Rydell with the setup though, followed with his own flash to try and connect a second stun from the ulti, but a bit like in game 1 as well, we have kills in every lane going back and forth. Nobody's really respecting what the other team can do, so you stay a little bit longer. And then you get caught out here. Celaver could have escaped though, just instant jump flash and you're out of range of that Morgana.
Yeah, could have done, should have done. Didn't. Peppernero in the mid lane, still building towards that Triforce. And meanwhile, there is a Frederick looking for another gank. Interesting enough, a lot of his presence has been in the other rather than mid lane, which is a big difference from what we've typically seen. But Frederick has just identified where he can get those kills.
Yeah, there's not really a whole lot of kill pressure for Corki in the mid lane. You have no CC to set up, and you really just want to farm up your Trinity Force and then towards the Luden's Echo before you do a whole lot. So I do think he's definitely taking the right choice in looking for this. I mean, it's basically 3 kills top, honestly. Yep. Against the Hecarim, the way they've been pushing it down and playing around it. Next step for Giants is if they do get another kill top lane, ward up that enemy blue buff, deny that one away from the Ahri so she doesn't have the mana to sit and just wave clear, and then you use the Trinity Force on Peppernero and you just start pushing down mid lane. 4 man together. Ahri won't have the mana to keep defending it because she just took away the blue buff. And that can be one of the plays for Giants if they get another kill top. Depending on where Frederick want to put his focus, it's around bottom lane again. Take one.
I'll take one. Just get the Orb of Deception down with the Spirit Rush. Still had Flash as well, but didn't manage to connect the Charm. That would have meant dead Corki there. He is waiting in the wings. He's actually waiting behind here. He does have the ultimate, and here it comes. He's going to try and get around that wall. He goes all the way past the turret, and now the teleport in from Kuban. Lands the Charm as well. He has to take a different exit route. Takefun doesn't have his ultimate, so he can't quite get in range. Follows the wave with Peppernero and finds him right after the Valkyrie. Takes him out. He even had Flash, and he didn't use it. What is it with Giants just not using it? In fact, what is it with Celaver and Peppernero not using their flashes?
I don't know. Everyone is saving these defensive summoners for
a rainy day.
I don't know what it is, but Another kill now. Reason Gaming. That was a dive started by Whirlip in the mid lane. Very, very aggressive. TP came in. Rek'Sai ulti. Instantly 3v2. Kills for Reason Gaming. Second dragon for them. Or can it be stopped? TP and Frederick are here.
Oh, maybe. I mean, Kubon doesn't have his own teleport. Does not get taken out. Zayu will take it down. He won't bake it down. Adri now going into the bot side of the fight. Zayu will be using his defensive summoner in a situation where he maybe didn't even need to. Frederick and Rydal will be taking away these wards down here, and Celaver and Libic can't contest it, as Libic is quite low right now. 3-3, and 2 dragons over to Reason Gaming this time around.
Big goal lead though for Giants. Once again, they're winning every single lane. Reason Gaming simply cannot match them in terms of the laning phase. This is going to be bottom lane tower. Top lane went down to the minions before for Giants. So suddenly this map is open. You got your Trinity Force on the Corki. Mid lane. I mean, it's going to be such an easy decision for Giants now. Okay, what's going to be our next objective? There's no dragon. There's only one outer turret in the mid lane where we already have a Corki sitting. That's going to be the next one. Takefun did get the blue buff because Giants decided not to try and focus on getting that one down. They went for the dives instead. Definitely not a call I agree with. I think it's way too risky what they were doing before. And I'd much rather just see you play around where you're already that much stronger, which would have been the top side. But now we have to see if they want to use Pepinero. He's already landing quite some rockets on Takefun.
Quite some indeed. And in that mid lane, that is pretty clear for them to go for that. Meanwhile, Adri has picked up his Infinity Edge. They're pretty much all hitting their item spikes over Reason Gaming. Got the Frozen Heart in the top lane, in the jungle, already got that Cinderhulk mid lane, Triforce bot lane, Infinity Edge. And you look at the other side of Reason Gaming and they have a Luden's Echo, and that's basically it. Just the components of the rest of their items.
No TP for the Hecarim, so there's no real way except for Nautilus ulti to start the fight. But as long as Morgana is there, that's gonna stop from ever happening. So Giants has every opening now to decide to group in that mid lane. Just push out this bottom side, then go up through the river to the mid lane and put pressure on that tower. It's the last outer turret. There's so many guys who can flank around Takefun that he should never feel safe just sitting in his own lane.
Frederick now in his jungle. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, still clearing out those wards. Every single lane is still behind from Reason Gaming, however. But they do have the Celaver for the late game. They still have a pretty decent mid game with Takefun, Zayu, and Kubon. Just a matter of whether they can get a pick with the charm or get the initiate with Kubon or get the follow-up as well. There's a jump forwards from Celaver looking for the CC chain from Libic. There's the Black Shield onto Adri, so that's not going to happen anytime soon. So difficult for them to get anything done, get any CC on Adri.
Yeah, they need Takefun there to break the Black Shield so they can pop the ulti from Libic. And we see Frederick sitting on a ward, so at least he's putting focus on that mid side. It really looks like Giants want to create a pick first on the bottom lane. If you look at Sion moving down now, Whirlip does have his ulti ready before they decide to do anything. They've been happy keeping the lanes. Whirlip is getting closer and closer. Let's get ready to rumble.
Yeah.
Oh.
No rumble.
He's like, you know what? Don't really fancy it today.
Well, maybe a different day.
Maybe they do.
Maybe that rainy day they've been saving the flashes for. And Celaver still has it. Libic, where's the hook? Oh, he showed himself.
Waiting for Whirlip.
Still there though. He does have his ultimate, doesn't have flash. Who else is there to counter? It is Zayu. So this could get...
Oh, he's doing it now.
Libic does land a hook onto the minions. There's a teleport come down into the top lane as well. Whirlip comes into the fray, picks up the kill onto Rydal though, and the follow through by Kubon goes onto Adri. He's bleeding out from the ignite. He goes down before he can even complete the culling, and now Whirlip just needs to get away. Comes out with the shield, the Soul Furnace, and we'll get the harassment down in return. He's still going to take a little more damage, but he has no follow-up. There is no Frederick to help him. He's a fair ways out. That was a 1-for-2 trade over to Reason Gaming.
It was, yeah. Instant TP coming down from Kubon. It's not over yet, though, in his bottom lane.
Now he's dropping low, looking for the Decimating Smash. There is the flash, and will be knocked away by Frederick. He's not the target they're looking for. Kubon and Zayu have the damage to eat through the Sion, though. Turns around, the Decimating Smash again lands onto both players for the long stun. And Zayu drops low. There's the Roar of the Slayer, and he's not going anywhere. Turns around, tries to get a Furious Bite, doesn't get it. Pepinero now comes in from the mid lane. This has been such an extended fight, and that means Takefun will come out as well. Pepinero finds 2 for 1. Buy one, get one free.
This bottom lane fight, man, it's Giants. Well, it's both teams honestly starting it at the same time. Reason wanted to go in with the jungle and like set up one pick, and Giants were there with Whirlip charging his ulti on the Sion. But that was Giants with a big item advantage, or at least an item advantage at this point. Still going even at first. until Pepanero came down, got 2 kills for himself. And mid lane tower still standing, didn't even take a single hit. We might get to see the next fight around Dragon, and not any objectives. Let's see the whole thing. Okay, we cut the first part.
Most of the thing.
Some people died. Whirlip is trying to chase up here. They do get some damage onto Celavar, and it looks bad now for Whirlip. And if you look at the mid lane, look at the pings from both of them. It's Ahri and Corki trying to fight each other. Who can get down to the bottom lane first? Pepanero moved. Will be there, get at least 1 kill for himself. And then he sacrificed himself for the second one onto Celavar. And then goes down after. Oh, so close to Celavar to jump away. Then you get a balloon in your face.
Caught him in the jump. I wonder what's in that balloon to Fisher. Anyway, Frederick and Pepanero heading through this bottom river. We'll be clearing out that ward, trying to get that vision over the dragon. And it will be coming up in 20 seconds. Pepanero, how's he doing in the mid lane? Has gone back to base with that extra double kill goal. Picked up an easily large rod as well, so he's going towards that Ludens you were talking about earlier.
Really gonna make his poke so strong, but he needs to land it before fight breaks out, because Reason still has a lot of burst potential. It's worth it though.
Here he goes, lands onto 2, follows it with the decimating smash and the charge onto Xayah. He will be going down. Kuban follows through with good ultimate onto the back line. Adri drops low. He gets Buster shot at the way and blown up by Celavar. Takeful also drops low, but Kuban is ripping apart the back line. This is a fantastic fight for Reason Gaming. Hooks him in. He's not going anywhere. Watch out for the passive though, because Sana's back and he's angry. Looking for the auto attacks on to take fun. One more, and it doesn't quite land it. Meanwhile, Celavar has been caught out by Pepanero. Gets knocked back by the Dragon Spawn and turns around with the damage. He takes the damage from Dragon as well. Not quite enough with the explosion from Explosive Charge. And Pepanero, you can't take on the Dragon right now. 4 for 1 over to Reason Gaming.
Giants didn't land any poke before they started this one, and they ran straight into the jungle of Reason Gaming. Got caught in a bit of a choke point where Kuban just came with his ulti across everyone. And suddenly, the fight was so hard for Giants to win because they had no idea where the different carries were coming from. Once we get the replay, Celavar on Tristana was the guy flanking, but nobody could touch him because they didn't expect him to be there. They'd already chased in to the jungle of Reason Gaming. And as we said, 0 poke have been landed first. Use your Corki. Sit back, far away, use the calling from your Lucian as well to land that poke first, then you can start a fight after.
Well, despite all of that, Giants did manage to go for the Dragon, and neither junglers pick it up. We'll actually go over to Pepanero with the follow-up with the ultimates across the wall. It's 4-2-0 right now. That's a number. Giants going into the mid lane now, so despite all that, yeah, it didn't work out for them. Either way, we're going to see that fight once again.
Let's see it. So it's full HP on Reason Gaming side. Look at your minimap here, how Celavar is walking down from the bottom of your screen. Everything is in this little point here from Giants. The ulti from Kuban goes across here, a lot of damage. Nobody's touching Celavar at this point because they don't expect him to show up from the side. He gets to jump away, and now there's simply not enough damage left for Giants side. The large rod from a Corki doesn't really do a whole lot for his auto attacks. He needs to land the rockets and the Q to do anything.
Yeah. However, the top lane pony did stay around for a little longer. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, though, it's all action all day. Pepanero gets taken down, follow up onto Rido as well, takes him out with the Spirit Rush. Meanwhile, Whirlip from the top lane locks him down, get the shutdown. That's the double kill, but also the shutdown onto Take Fun. Libic is not landing the hooks today on the stationary objects, but that will mean he'll have to flash away over the wall, loses that summoner. Adri with the culling comes in with the onslaught of shadows, jumps over the wall of the rampage, and Libic comes back into the fight, anchor to the face, takes him out, and Frederick will be trying to escape from this one. Whirlip may be having enough damage to take out Xayah. Flash forward, axe to the back of the Rek'Sai's head, takes him out. 3 for 2. This is so messy, Deficio.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on at the moment. Giants were grouping on the mid lane, that was fine. But then they got caught in a fight while Celavar was pushing on the bottom lane, and Giants still managed to lose so many members. Can they get a second tower in the mid lane and try and even out that one? Celavar, I believe he got 2 on the bottom side for himself. They only get the mid one for Reason, or for Giants. They got Luna's Echo on Pepanero, but we're gonna have to get another replay of another fight. These two teams here are not just gonna sit back. They keep getting caught out.
Yeah, and again, it was Celaver doing the split pushing. It's always Celaver. It's never Kubon. It's never Take Fun. It's always Celaver's the AD carry. Take Fun, speaking about him, just get locked down by the Decimating Smash right on the corner, and also the binding as well. Werlib will be following up the damage, but now we're just going to have Fight Central again. Kubon now teleports into the fight, looking for that devastating charge. Doesn't quite get out to anyone just yet. Werlib's dropping low, but he comes up the shield. Peppinero, though, is trying to get the harass down. Doesn't land those rockets, and after all that, no one dies. Giants, Werlib and Frederick on next to no HP, and they go back to base.
And nobody here wants to sit back and play boring. Reason Gaming definitely showing they're more decisive in this game.
A killer minute.
They're taking the fights Giants are offering to them, because it's been Giants starting it. They were the ones engaging around the Dragon. They were the ones grouping on that mid tower, and then Reason is the one catching on. Let's see what happens. The minions dies, and then it's just a hook onto the Peppinero. The Black Sheep from Rydal went onto himself. So Corki dies instantly, and look at Celaver here, pushing one tower, pushing up for the next one. While all this happens, simply just a bad Black Shield means your Corki dies.
Yeah, and Adri just goes
and then Adri's like, alright, I'm gonna try and poke some more. Whoop, I just got caught out.
Yeah, and that's just all the tanks going at it. Takes a little while to end, but there we go.
Still, Giants are in the position where you group with this Corki and you just sit back and poke. You don't all in, and you slowly take away towers. You don't even need kills at this point because it's about the towers and about the global gold you're going to get. So just poke them back with your missiles. Take the tower when they've gone back to base, and you're okay. You don't have to risk an all-in fight where a 5-1 Ahri with Luden, Zeko, and Deathcap can one-shot any of your carries.
And the Luden Zeko has been picked up by Take Fun as well, also with the Death Cap, so he is he's hurting quite a lot if he gets into those fights. Kubon's got the core item build down with his Home Guards, the Triforce as well, also going towards his Magic Resist item, which looks to be, well, could be either Banshees or the Spirit Visage, but what's for certain is he probably is going for the Frozen Heart. Fantastic on Hecarim, gives him the cooldown, and get that Q to like a 0.6 second cooldown if you get the charges as well. It gets kind of insane. Helicopter him comes into action.
And then him not running Smite, as we see in so many other regions, simply because you wanted to be more active in early to mid game. Smite will be better later on, but then you need to build up these items first. You need to have a lot more focus on playing these jungle camps for Kubon and for both teams. It's been more about, can we get a fight here? All right, let's take a fight. We gotta go for this one. And Ignat has given him 2 kills already from diving in. So with Ignat and quick Trinity Force, he has a lot of one-shot potential.
Yeah, he has those squishy targets to go through. The Peppinero, the Adri didn't have that last game, but yeah, if you have the targets to blow up, why not? In the top lane, Werlib is still pushing up against Kubon, who is clearing out the way fairly handily, even without the support of his team. Looking for a charm onto Rydal, does not find its mark. Celaver as well, sidesteps the binding, very close to being hit up. Adri as well with the follow-through, with the double tap. He's 1-4-3 right now, but is farming fairly well, so he's not all that behind in this game. Giants continuing the pressure in the top lane here. Peppinero continuing with the rocket harass, keeping people away. What's that? I see a Celaver split pushing.
Oh, he might get a mid tower because there's not enough minions here for Giants, and they're not controlling the rest of the waves. So Celaver just sees an opening to get a free tower. Bottom lane is pushing for them, yeah, but it takes a while before that hits the next turret here, so enough time for Reason to react to that one. They will even go for a second tower in the middle. Tristana is so fast at taking out towers. Giants have to do something, and they're engaging.
Well, they try for the engage. Kubon will be ulting away from the fight, and only Take Fun will be the casualty. They'll take the top turret, but if they can hold them at the inhib turret, Celaver's just going to continue to take their base, and someone has to deal with it. No one's recalling just yet.
Stop the recall. Stop the recall.
He's recalling in the lane, and it will be Zayu taking the recall away from him. They continue with the follow-up. We'll be getting the Prey Seeker down. Now the recall's coming out from Adri. Stop the recall. He gets it. Werlib as well has to stop. Everyone's trying to stop it from happening. Now they move on to the Baron. But still, they're losing their mid-turret, Deficio.
They are. Like, this is a Tristana on her own. Just took 4
and the
things in the mid-time. He got the inhibitor down. He's going back to try and stop this one.
Kubon has been caught out. We will be jumping into the fight. Doesn't have his ultimate. Finally gets slain by Adri in the back of the fight. Depth charge lands onto that big tanky Gragas. The hook does not come through. The dredge line doesn't find its mark. Celaver comes in with the auto attacks over the wall. Doesn't quite get it. Again, another objective goes over to Peppinero of all people. Celaver does get slowed down by Werlib. It's damage control now for Reason Gaming. Oh, the binding from Rydal. That's a dead Celaver. But still, he did his job. He took the inhib. And even though they lost 3 members, that was pretty damn good from the AD carry.
Yeah, that was a lot of global gold being picked up for Reason Gaming, and Giants, after they got stopped again and again from Recon, said, okay, whatever, we go Baron then. We force you down to fight us here. The whole thing, so this is at the Baron, it's already dropped fairly low. Kuban gets caught out at first. Celebi is on his way after getting that inhibitor. And Reason Gaming just trying, they don't really want to commit, they just want to try and poke Giants off and get them to take more and more damage from the Baron itself. Let's see the smite when it comes in. 600, there's the smite, I think it's from Frederick. I don't think the smite was used from Reason Gaming.
Yeah, very, very close. It's
might have been lying to you, and it was just very, very close.
Frederick has just not landed the smites at the right time. But again, fantastic binding from Rydal. And Pop dies at the end. Could have clipped. He didn't die, he was good.
Hunting guys completed for Pepinero. He's going for the standard Corki style. We've not really seen him use it too much, because every time Giants has positioned himself ready to siege, one of the other lanes has been pushing up to them, and Reason has gone and like taken a tower for it, or Giants is just instantly engaged. They're not allowing Pepinero to play his champion properly by always taking fights or not controlling the map, which has been a problem for them. They're still ahead from this like 5k gold. They have the Baron buff, but that mid lane is suddenly wide open.
Zayu with the Prey Seekers get poked. Werleb is tanking up the laser even though he has minions. And will be getting the Decimator Flash down for area denial. Adri is ripping apart this turret, looking for a potential engage here as the depth charge on to Pepinero. Almost reverted to expansion tournament. There's the ultimate coming through onto Libic, and Celebi, big one, gets a lot of damage onto that backline. And Adri just needs to get those auto attacks down. He's got the Bloodthirster, so he's constantly got that shield, and now the tank flank there as well.
Just the poke.
Constantly taking down the turret. There it goes, Trinity Force proc from Pepinero. And now taking this inhib as well. It's just not a fight that Reason Gaming want to take.
And now you go back and you reset the whole thing, because you got big waves coming. You can go take the bottom one here. That's like 4 or 5 waves in total. Top wave as well pushing in. So for Giants, reset the whole thing. Reason Gaming can try and go and take the tier 1 top. We can see how most of Giants members are going to the bottom side, and there's no other minions to work with. Look at Reason trying to get something at least.
Yeah, Giants are extremely split right now. They have found Werleb. He's by himself completely, but he's actually fairly tanky. Kuban following up with the devastating charge. The tower is still there, but it basically scratches the front line at this stage.
Well,
still have Libic coming in here. I'm not sure why he was trying to clear out the minion line, but the tower will be going down. They're trying to keep him in place, but he's just so tanky. They don't have the damage there just yet. Finally, Celebi alive, but Ryder was there, and Pepinero is in hot pursuit. He's going to get into this fight very quickly, and everyone is converging on the top lane. So Reason Gaming back away. They took the outer turret.
Got at least a tower, so that's just quick decision making for Reason, saying how do we make the best out of a bad situation? Well, at least we get some global gold on that top side. It's a quick little move from them. They're still 5k behind. But the Andrew is completed for Pepinero, so everything for him has been just a spike that makes his poke even better and better. Elixir picked up. Go back to grouping for Giants. Your bottom lane is going to slowly push down, so there's nothing for Reason Gaming right now to take on the other side of the map. So they have to sit 5 men together now at the tier, or at the inhibitor, sorry, and try and defend it. But unless they can get a hard engage from their TP Hecarim, see, there's a ward all the way up here in the tri-bush. Oh, sorry, at the blue buff from Reason Gaming. They can't TP too. That's a way to start a fight. Otherwise, they won't be able to do anything. This one, and here's the TP.
The teleport. He does have the home guard. He'll be coming in from the back. He comes in with the E. Libic as well. Comes in with the depth charge. Goes onto the back lines. Only really gets onto the Rydal. Immediately gets exhausted. He'll be going down before the fight even really starts. Cunning comes across onto Celebi. Zones him away. The Rek'Sai dies as well. Libic tries to get through the base gate, but also gets slain before he gets through it. Frederick now trying to get onto take fun. The rocket goes wide. Doesn't quite land, but neither does the charm. Frederick just needs to zone him away. Top turret doesn't even go down. They could just end the game here.
Yeah.
And now and they go for the first Nexus turret. There goes the second, and they just don't have enough to stop them. And Celebi and Takefoot just have to watch there as the Nexus turns into rubble. Giants take the second game in this best of 5. This is quickly becoming a clean sweep.
It is, and that last engage here from Kuban, he had to run down the lane instead, not just try and ult over the wall. We saw Giants manage to back away in time, avoid the home guard TP from the Hecarim. And then the fight just became so hard. We kept talking about how Reason Gaming had to like burst one target in the start. Very rarely did they get onto that one target, and that made it super hard in the later team fights. So once Giants finally decided to slow down, group up with your Corki, land that insane poke, and then slowly but surely you will get down these towers. You don't have to force a fight. Celabar, though, that man was on a mission when it came to killing enemy towers.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever there was an opening, he was in the side lane, or a mid lane even.
Or anywhere.
And just take 3 or 4 towers down by himself. So he tried to do his best to keep them relevant in the game once they fell behind. But we just saw that Giants grouped up, avoid the engage, you just poke away.
Yeah, well, we've seen Celabar do that so many times, just try and get those advantages by split pushing by himself. But it was good by Reason Gaming. They did make iteration from game 1 to game 2, and they did change their playstyle. They didn't just try to go for the double tanks. They tried to go for the mid game, the early pressure. They didn't pull away from the dragons in the early game. I mean, it was known to stop them, but still.
More decisive.
They were more decisive in the games Deficio. So they did make those changes, but it still wasn't enough. And yes, it was a lot closer, but they were still behind at 10 minutes. They were still behind in the early game, and they just couldn't get an advantage big enough to overtake Giants.
And that's really it here, how Reason Gaming just seems to be a level under Giants when it comes to laning phase. Every lane, winning. Corki into Ahri, won by Pepenero. Bottom lane, the Lucian matchup into the Tristana. Obviously expected that Tristana will lose the lane, but that was still like 30 CS, I think, for Adri in that lane. And of course, the top lane was just camped completely. Like, Kuban was shut down so hard. So it's really, really difficult for Reason Gaming, despite playing a composition that could create picks and make plays in the mid game. They just fell so far behind. They were always in an item disadvantage. And it just makes it so much harder for you to come back in the game.
Yeah, there was a point we were talking about items where they just had that 2,000 gold advantage, but it meant that everyone had completed their big items, and we still had components from Reason Gaming. So, well, they're not out of it just yet, but we are going to head over to the analyst for a look into how Giants took the series to 2-0.
Thank you very much, Perseficio. We are 2-0 to Giants. Great performance. Very exciting mid-game. But the picks and bans sort of were leaning towards that. I know, Sheepa, you were talking about the different power spikes and when champions would become enabled.
Yeah, you could already see that there will be a lot of mid-game play set up throughout those picks. You have Rek'Sai, you have Ahri, you have Hecarim, which are really spiking into the mid-game and really are the assassins. And you see on the other side, you have Corki with the Trinity Force Power Spike and Morgana, who wants to set up for the kills with Lucian together as well. And Gragas as well. So whoever comes out ahead in the mid game, kind of scaling into the late game, both had kind of equal scaling, a little bit better onto the Reason Gaming side, I would say, with Tristana, but having less tankiness from the Rek'Sai and the Hecarim. I think just in the mid game, everything was decided, and as well as we will see in those plays that we are going to review, just how great it was.
Yeah, before we get to the mid-game plays, though, the one thing we kind of have to look back at is that early game laning. Deficio just said at the end, he feels like Giants are a step ahead, or he said Reason are a step behind Giants in the laning phase. Honestly, Wirlib, yes, he's not going up against the likes of a Huni, a Freddy, somebody who's very dominant in the top laner, but this is a very different Wirlib to what we've seen in the regular season. He looks comfortable in lane. These are 2 new picks, hasn't even really been struggling without the Jaxes. It's been banned. But I think one thing that highlights this more than anything, and it's a fun play that we wanted to just put a highlight on before we get into the serious mid-game stuff, was that gank top lane where Wirlib teleports into the lane, instantly ults Kuban under his own tower because of the lead he's got, and there's a gank from Gragas. So when we run this out, it's a fun little clip here that you'll see as we get it onto the stream. So at this point, yes, he's just got back, he's got an item advantage, but all the way through the minion wave, this is a setup with Frederick onto Kuban, hits him, knows Kuban's far too weak to survive this.
100% down instantly.
Yeah, instantly, and that's quite a dominant play in the lane. That's just telling you Wirlib knows exactly how strong he is in that situation. There was nothing Kuban could do.
That is not something we have seen from Wirlib all spring split long.
That was really decisive, especially seeing that Frederick comes from the side there.
Well, we did say it was going to be exciting mid-game. We've got a whole heap of replays to help show you that. So let's bring those up onto your screen and we'll basically just talk about how this mid-game played out, because it went very exciting for a long time. I think this team fight looked so good for Reason on the back end. Despite the fact that it was Giants engaging on them. Sheepy, I know you quite liked how this played out.
Yeah, Giants having a double knockup from Cyan, but the backline just doesn't get the DPS in. And then what a beautiful turn from Takefon and Hecarim, and from Tristana coming from the side, getting all the DPS on the backline. Cyan a little bit stranded, Morgana trying to help out.
one of the things here that really was opened up in the team fights was Kuban in the laning phase, Kuban outside. Kuban's ultimates got better and better throughout the game, and up until that last one, which wasn't so great.
And then you see Tristana running away here, struggling for her life. And, oh god, the W getting interrupted by the Wrath of the Dragon. He didn't want her to let go.
Definitely did not. So this was the first fight. Less than a minute and a half later, a mid-lane fight breaks out around the tower, and it's just non-stop action. Is this what you were expecting when you saw Pix and Bansheepy?
Yeah, I saw like both teams trying to assassinate each other and just constantly not giving an inch to each other. And you see the turns are Libic hitting his Q this time, not on the tower. And you just see fighting over and over.
Now, I have to ask, as the coach of a team who fights over and over, what are you telling your players? Like, you're watching this. How do you talk to Reason? How do you talk to Giants? Because this was 4 to 6 minutes of just non-stop action.
Yeah, usually you should take a step back and look really at what was the objective here. So Giants got actually the mid lane tower, and Takefang was actually overextending at some point to chase down the kill. And they got one kill for free, so just leave it there, push in the wave, and just play over the waves. One
really quick thing I want to ask about what happened after. The fact that Giants were pushing down into Reason's base. Reason left Saliver alone. He actually got all the way to Inhibitor. Giants took a Baron. Like, that's a very weird play. Is it good or bad, and why?
I think that it was a really great play by Saliver, and that they could contain Giants so long without losing too much was really, really great. And he got 3 towers?
Yep,
4?
3 towers in an inhib, and don't forget, there were no wards for Reason on the way there. The entire top side jungle, no wards for Reason. Saliver says, oh, turret. Oh, another one. Oh, a third one, and an inhibitor. That should never really happen, but Giants stayed too long in the top lane, then tried to go for Baron. They managed to bail out in the end, get the Baron. It all ended up well for them, but something that Monte Cristo was talking about on his countdown was when you have 2 teams that want to fight, if you fight over and over like this again and again, one team gets stronger every single time and eventually has just too much damage and will continue to barrel through their opponents. And as much as Reason tried to get back into it, Giants just were too strong at the end.
Barrel through their opponents with Gragas in the jungle. I expected more of you, Stress. Let's move on with the data. It's 2-0 to Giants. I want to give you guys at home a quick update. The International Wildcard Invitational Finals have actually just begun as it hits 4 p.m. Central European time. It is between Turkey's Besiktas against Brazil's INTZ Esports. The winner will be representing their wildcard region at the mid-season invitational. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they do. Maybe we'll have another kaboom on our hands. There are 2 games behind us. We want to check in with you guys at home and see what you have been tweeting on the question that we had asked you. Which promotion tournament team do you think has the most potential to impact the LCS summer split, and why? We've handpicked a couple of responses. Let's start for one from @Mertruso. The person writes, Rockets players have proven their talent in the past. If they work on their teamwork, they can still be a challenge. What do you think about that?
I'll say the same thing that I think everybody always says about Rocket. They're a team that on paper should do very well. Unfortunately, they get to the stage. It doesn't always end up that way. I agree. Roccat, work on the teamwork. They've just brought in Yamato Cannon as a coach. Maybe that fixes a lot of their problems. Maybe they can perform again like they did in Spring Split in 2014.
Well, so far, Giants are doing well in their matchup. Roccat still need to prove it later today. We'll see if they can. The next one comes from @Avalanchio. I think Copenhagen Wolves Academy are really hungry to show that they can perform on stage after their loss versus Origin. And that was a heavy, heavy-handed loss. What do you think about Copenhagen Wolves Academy?
I think they are a team to look out for. They pick Fiora top lane and stuff like this, and they are...
oh, you would like that?
I would like to see this today, so that's something I'm looking forward to. Maybe they have other picks, people were trying out other stuff, and especially now with the time that we had between the end of the promotion tournament and the finals we had in between, and now the start of the LCS promotion match, I think teams could easily adapt, and you saw it here in those games. We see a Cyan first time picked. We see a Shyvana first time picked, and it works wonders.
Well, we'll see whether or not they can. They still have to take down Roccat on the way there. Guys, thank you so much. We appreciate you all chiming in. So stay in touch by tweeting @LOL Esports. Be sure to use that hashtag LCS. We will continue to check in throughout the day because we do have another best of 5 once this one wraps. For now, we're going to step away as these teams look towards their next match where it is do or die for Reason Gaming. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back, possibly with a new LCS team.
And this is crazy, but here's my number. So call me maybe.
There's the roll of the Slayer, and he's not going anywhere. Turns around, tries to get the Furious Pike, doesn't get it. Pepinera now comes in from the mid lane. This has been such an extended fight. Here he goes, lands onto 2, follows it with the Decimating Smash and the charge onto Xayah. He will be going down before the fight even really starts. Cunning comes across onto Celeber, zones him away. The Rek'Sai dies as well. Libic tries to get through the base gate. Giants take the second game, and it's best of 5. This is quickly becoming a clean sweep.